Hi developers, I'm Hossein Deli, Microsoft MVP. In this video, we'll learn how to create a search experience in our Xamarin Forms application and ASP.NET web application. From our ASP.NET application, we'll create a search web service. This search web service accepts a keyword. Then the web service will look for all the items that corresponds to that keyword from our database. Then they return the response to the caller as a JSON object. Our Xamarin Forms application will have a page where the user enters a keyword, then click the search button, then an HTTP request is created and it contains that keyword typed by the user. Then it will be sent to that web service. Then the web service will process it and return all the data that contains that keyword. Then the mobile application will show this result as a list of items inside that same page. We want to protect our web service. For that, we use the authorize attribute with that web service in our ASP.NET project. And the user will send an access token with each HTTP request he makes to that search web service. Here on Visual Studio, I have the code that we have started developing through the previous videos, where here we have created the Xamarin Forms application that runs on Android, iOS, and Windows UWP. Then we do have the web services, or the backend, which is written using ASP.NET. And here for the backend, we do have the IDS controller, which is the main controller for our application, which implements the CRUD operations for accessing the database, changing data, adding and deleting data. For that, we do have all those web services, and those web services are invoked through our mobile application. From the PCL project. Here we do have the API services, which is the service or the class that will communicate with the web services, and in each time it needs, for example, to post a new idea, it needs to send the access token, because all of our web services are protected using here the authorized attribute. This means every HTTP request sent to our web services should send with it the access token. So here let's add another web service to this list of web services inside our IDS controller. So let's add a web service for searching data. For that, here actually we do have a web service get ideas that returns all the list of the ideas. And here people might think about what's if I invoke this web service to get all the list of the web services to my mobile application, then search that list inside the mobile application. And that's not a good scenario, that's not a good solution, because if you do have 1 million idea in your web service, then you don't want to get 1 million idea in your mobile application and then search that in your mobile application. That's lots of data, and processing that data inside your mobile application, that's not a good thing to do. So what is better is to search the keyword or send the keyword from your mobile application to the backend, and the web service will do the rest for you. So let's create a web service dedicated for searching items from our database. I'll inspire from this get ideas web service and then create one that looks like that. Right here I call it search ideas. My search ideas takes a keyword as a parameter, we call it keyword, and to invoke this web service, the client, whatever it is, it should go to this route. It should use this specific route, which is here API / the name of my controller which is ideas. I just delete the keyword controller, then should be API slash ideas slash, here I want to use a specific URL for my for this web service, which is under search, to tell that this is for searching keywords. Then I'll specify a parameter. So here, how we'll get this keyword? So we'll get it directly from the URL of the HTTP request. And to do that, here I'll copy that same name for the keyword, and then double points and specify its type, which is of type string right here. Because it's of type string, then I can delete it, because by default it will be converted to a string, so I can just let it as it is, like that. We get that keyword, and note here we are specifying it's authorized. It uses the attribute authorized. That means the user should send the access token to in the headers of his HTTP request. So the new URL will be search slash, then pass the keyword. We get that keyword. Now we can access the database through the DB context, and here the DB is the ideas context, which will give us access to the database, and from the database we can get access to the ideas table, and from the ideas table we will go and compose a request. We'll say look for all the ideas where every idea, or where and select the ideas that verify this condition, which is idea dot title dot contains that keyword. So we are looking for all the ideas which their title contains that keyword. We can also add another query to tell that not only the title contains the keyword, but also the description. So here we are searching for the keyword inside the title and the description of each idea stored in our database. Then we will return that result back to our Xamarin Forms application. So this is all what we need in order to create a new web service for searching ideas. Here I go and test this one using Postman. For that I'll select start, and from Postman I'll go and let's say duplicate, and here I go and select that I want this to be get, and oops, here I just forget to specify the verb that matches this web service, which should be here. It should be HTTP get. Okay, because for all the other web services we didn't specify the verb, because the method or the web service, his name starts with the name of the verb. But if that's not the case, here we don't have a verb called search. For that I need to specify the verb as an attribute right here. So let's test this from Postman. For that, right here I compose a get a request from Postman. So let's say it's a get. Then I want to go to the list of the ideas, go to the search. So where we do have the search right here, it's ideas slash search. Then our keyword, let's say we are looking for keywords that contains the P, and inside the headers we specify the authorization, then the access token with the keyword bearer. So we specify those, then we send that response. Let's add a breakpoint to that web service to make sure we can hit it, then send our and here we hit that breakpoint, and the keyword that we have sent, which is P, then another breakpoint here, continue, and then the response will be sent to a Postman, and here the response contains all JSON file containing all the ideas that have the P inside their title or description. Cool. So now we tested with Postman. Now let's implement this from our Xamarin Forms application. So I'll switch to my Xamarin Forms application, go to API services, and add or implement another call to the search web service. For that, I'll use the same here as get ideas async. Copy that, then let's call it search ideas async. This web service will get an access token, but it needs also to get a string which will be the keyword. Then to that keyword we'll go and create an HTTP client, add the authorization header, and add that access token. Then here what we'll do is that we'll send an HTTP GET request to our web service, and here the web service will change, or the URL will change to be ideas/search, because that's the value that we did have specified in the route for our web service. So it should be search / then we add that keyword to the URL of our HTTP request. Cool. Now we have implemented the API service. Now we'll use that service from a view model, and here I'm using the MVVM design pattern. That means that I'll create view models, then I create views, which are the pages, and those pages will be bound to a view model in order to invoke their commands and get access to all the properties from within the view model. I start by creating, in this second step, the view model. For that, I'll go and add a new class. Let's call it search view model. The search view model is a public class that contains a property which will be it's of type string, and this is gonna be the keyword for our page. So this is the keyword that the user will type inside the page. Then another property which will be the list of all the idea. We'll call that list of ideas, let's call it ideas. Then the user will have a button. Once click it, it will invoke an I command. For that, let's add a public command of type I command. This command will be called search command. The search command have a getter in order to return a new command for us. For that, let's say return a new command, and this command will have a lambda expression. This lambda expression, all it will do is that it will go and call the API services class. So let's create an instance of this API services, and here I'll add the namespace, then create a new instance of API services in order to access it from our search command. So now I can say API services dot, and here I invoke the search ideas async, pass my keyword, then pass the access token which we already stored inside the settings.access token. Let's say this is an await operation, and the lambda expressions should be run synchronously or asynchronously. Here, because and every time the user searches a new keyword, the ideas property will be changed, and in order to reflect that change inside the page, the ideas should use the iNotify property changed interface in order to notify the page that the list of ideas is changed, so go and change that list also and update it in your in the page, in the list view. So let's implement I notify property changed. Here I'm using ReSharper, which will help me to add the 4 lines of code for implementing property changed and on property changed method. And here ideas, I'll make it a property with a backing field, and then in each time I change the ideas or update the ideas through the setter, I'll go and invoke on property changed method. Note that here I don't need to do the same for the keyword. It doesn't need to call on property changed, because here keyword, the change will be from the page to the view model and not vice versa. From the page to the view model, that change is done automatically, so Xamarin does that for us. But if I want the change from to be reflected from my view model to the page, then at that case I need to use on notify on property changed. Cool. Now let's add our interface. So let's go to the views, add a new page, call it new item, specify from cross-platform blank content page XAML, and let's call this our search page. Our search page will have a title to say this is our search page. Our search page will be bound to the view model, so we need to set the content page dot binding context of this page to our view model. For that I'll do vm dot and then use my search view model to bind against it. And again here, thanks to ReSharper, it adds this namespace for me. Then I'm ready to create UI elements and bound them to the properties from our search view model. So let's put all of these inside the stack layout, and inside the stack layout we'll put a search bar. The search bar, its text will be bound to our keyword property. Then we'll add a button. This button will invoke the command search command. Then this text or this button will have a text displaying search ideas. Then the ideas that will be returned by the web service will be shown inside a list view. For that, let's say our list view will have items template or item source equal, then we'll do the binding to our list of ideas, and with that we need to specify has uneven rows equal to true. Then create the binding for our list view by styling list view dot item template, then specify a data template inside it, then view cell, and inside the view cell we'll put a stack panel or stack layout. That stack layout is vertical by default, so we need here to add a label, and in that label its text will be bound to the title of my idea. Here each item will display an idea, and the first label inside that template will display the title of the idea. The second and the third will display the description and the category for the returned ideas. Cool. Now we are ready to invoke or to start this application, so let's do that. But here actually we did forget something else, which is how can I navigate to the search page. For that I'll go to the ideas page, which is the first page which will be shown to the user, and I'll add another button to navigate to the search page. So here to the two buttons for getting all the ideas, and to navigate to the new idea page, I'll add a new button that say search ideas. Once click it, it will go and invoke search ideas. Click it, event, or let's say navigate to search ideas. Click it. So let's create that event handler. Here I'm using ReSharper. It will generate that event handler for me. If you don't have ReSharper, then you just can go and create that event handler in your code behind. So make sure here you create it in the code behind that corresponds to your XAML page. From here I'll use the navigation method, or the navigation property, to say push async and go to the search page. With the await, we need to specify async, and here, because it's an event handler, then I don't need to change this void to a task. It's an exception made only to event handlers. Cool. Now let's run this application. Hit start. Let's say get all ideas, and then let's go to search for an idea by clicking the button search. Let's say we are looking for the ideas that contains P. Then here we hit that web service saying pasting the keyword P. Continue again, and then oops, we didn't get the list of ideas displayed here because we did forget something really important, which is, I guess you have already guessed what it is, which is right here, search ideas async doesn't set the ideas property. So we didn't need to forget that. Search ideas, look for P, search ideas, hit continue, and then here it is, our list of ideas that have P displayed in the description and in the idea, or the idea for each of those ideas. If we say, for example, idea, or let's say D, for example, search ideas again, continue, then we get this list of ideas. I hope this demo was helpful for you, and I hope you learned how to create search pages that invokes search web service in an authenticated way. And if you need to get a look at the source code for this application, then you can go to my GitHub repo and look for the project called Cheap Ideas, where here I show through videos on YouTube how to create the such application. And you can also find all the links for all the video, but also you can get the source code for this entire application. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you.